having in the studio someone who has made a name for himself in the jazz genre of music. He is an arranger of music, he is an instrumentalist, he is a composer, and he is Jesse. How you doing? Welcome. How's it going? First of all, you're looking great, and it is amazing. No, really, I'm serious. I'm serious.
Yeah.
So what's the secret? What's the secret? Tell us.
Well, I like to look artistic. Yeah, quite.
Okay.
Yeah, and secondly, I'm just kind of person that is fashion freak,
You're a fashion freak?
Yeah, kind of.
So, how do you... I want to be a fashion freak too.
Are you kidding me?
I'm joking. Yeah, that's actually really great.
Oh, yeah.
So, and then you play the instrument.
Yeah, well, I do.
That's great.
Yeah.
That's really great. I'm serious. I'm serious. So, we've had Lee Morgan, we've had Freddie Hubbard, Art Farmer, we had Biggs Berdebeck, Donald Bride, and then...
Louis Armstrong.
Louis Armstrong as well.
Yeah.
And then we're having Jesse Ibidun. So do you think you can actually make that Hall of Fame? We can actually see you. What are you doing that will have you make that Hall of Fame? So,
Well, my biggest drive actually has been to represent in the jazz world globally, and at the same time to bring that attention to Nigeria when it comes to art music and jazz performance, And basically, I'm more focused about the culture and traditional aspect of the sound, because jazz music is all about culture. Jazz is a culture itself, and it has to reflect from the sound, it has to reflect from the player, it has to reflect from the instrument, in choice of songs, tunes, and all of that. So basically, I'm on the goal and on that drive to, create out sounds that will be accepted globally, and of which I came up with a new concept, a new initiative, which I tagged the Black Image Revolution. And that actually is like to reflect the African culture and tradition through the African sound, influencing jazz element into it. And basically, it's been going on well, and I've been receiving some positive reviews, from most of my colleagues, even outside, the country. And yeah, sure. I believe one day I will be, reckoned with as one of those great jazz legends.
Yeah, you see, I kind of spoke with, Ed Kubong.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah, he's on a certain tour right now. So, and you had your concert recently.
Yeah.
That was an amazing concert, by the way.
Yeah,
it was really lit and all. That's great. So, why did you choose this genre amongst other genres of music? Is it because you had to play the trumpet?
No.
Why did you choose the genre jazz?
I chose the genre jazz because I actually have the flair for it. When I was quite younger, one of the music I was exposed to was the likes of Kenny G, John Coltrane, and Miles Davis and all of that. So picking up the instrument trumpet actually, just locked up with my interest for jazz music, and ever since then I've had that flair and passion to just go so deep into it. And now I'm trying to make the jazz music appeal to this current generation we have, because usually people say jazz is for the old folks. Yeah, people say jazz is ancient.
What do you think?
Yeah, well, actually, in that sense, that can be correct.
Really?
Yeah, because basically the reason why they see it that way is because it hasn't really evolved, or the players who plays it still don't evolve to the new world we have, the new age now. So many things have changed. Sound is evolving. Music is going electronic now, and even jazz have to evolve to that level.
So what's the evolution? What has jazz evolved into right now?
Well, jazz has evolved into fusion now.
Okay, what are you fusing? What are we fusing?
Fusing electronic sound into the real jazz traditional element.
Okay.
In the case whereby you have an effects trumpet.
Really?
The raw sound of the trumpet is there, and at the same time you have the effects trumpet. And it also had a different kind of feel and create a new ambience to the listeners and to the whole performance.
That's great. You said something about jazz being a cultural sound. So the jazz in Nigeria will be different from the jazz in Cameroon.
Yeah, sure.
Or will be different from jazz in America.
Yeah.
Definitely, right? So, how have you incorporated the culture of Nigeria into the jazz music, like something like Afro fusion of jazz, Afro jazz? How they do all those fusions. So how have you done that?
Yeah, last year I can remember I traveled to some part of Nigeria. That was Abuja, Niger State, and what do you call it? Kaduna, and from there I was exposed to different sounds. This northern sound that was quite really, let's say, local. Actually, it's quite deep, and on a norm it doesn't really make sense. But because I had that, I have that consciousness that I'm more concerned about the cultural sound, and kind of I was able to pick out most of this sound and refine it into jazz, And part of those sounds was what we performed at the Black Image Revolution concert, There was a piece like that, it's quite traditional, and all of the inspiration came out from my experience in the North.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so and the elements in it, it just changes the whole feel. Yeah, because if the original people hear that music, they won't believe that music was, inspired from that aspect.
So is that the only way you draw your inspiration, from travels?
Not necessarily from travel. I draw inspiration from, the reality of life. Yeah, there is a piece I actually wrote called Home. And one day I was just reflecting on how I was to go and see my parents, and I got stuck into the whole thought and all of that. And the next thing that just popped out was a piece of music. Oh. So I was able to document that down, and put it into proper recording and all of that. So I get inspiration from anything, from anything, literally anything. Yeah.
But as an instrumentalist, you don't have lyrics. And most times, you don't have what you have lyrics, is the octave,
the melody,
the melody and the rhythm as well. So, and most times, in modern music, people listen to lyrics or they listen to beats.
Yeah.
So how do you now say a person, or ascertain if a person is feeling the music when he's listening to melody and not beats this time, and he's listening to the instrumentals and not lyrics?
The effect of instrumental actually is to reflect soul. And if any instrumental is not reflecting soul, definitely the audience will be bored. And oftentimes I've tried to master that aspect of reflecting soul out of my horn. So whenever I play, even if you can't really relate what I'm saying in words, but the melody and the tune you're hearing, or you could hear me play, actually definitely will reflect soul. And I see music as a language, or as a language that actually speaks to the soul. So once the stories reflect from my horn, definitely they get connected, and the whole atmosphere, the whole audience are just cheered up. And
that's great. So I was speaking to, I roll with a couple of people here, and most of them are ladies. So I was speaking to a couple of ladies recently, and then they told me, they listed a couple of, for just to quote them verbatim, they said the list of sexy instruments are the guitar. And another one that actually appeals to them, that they just fall in love immediately, is the saxophone. And now you chose the trumpet.
Yeah.
So how do you get these people who are already have their minds fixed that, okay, there's a guitar that actually appeals to me, and then there's a saxophone that appeals to me as well, and then you have the trumpet?
Yeah.
So how do you get these people to love the trumpet too?
I actually get that question a lot. And a couple of times, so many people actually ask me to switch. Hey man, trumpet is not really interesting, it's not really cool. Why don't you go for saxophone, and all of that. But I can actually just trace all of that to the fact that I see trumpet as that instrument that has got that power, of projection. So saxophone can project, but when it comes to trumpet, it's quite different.
Yeah.
When you hear the sound of trumpet, the level of projection for trumpet is different from any musical instrument. True. Talking about the brass family, the woodwind family, even trumpet is just a peculiar instrument that has got a strong rate of projection. So that was my attraction to the trumpet. It was quite difficult, being so disciplined to just focus on trumpet, but after realizing the effect and the power of the projection the instrument itself has, that actually got my attention and interest.
Okay, great. So in the Nigerian music industry right now, yeah, we have a modern trend in which we have DJs being featured by music artists, people who actually really sing. And then it's only on rare case scenarios that we see people like Sheun Kuti, who plays the saxophone, being featured on these songs. But we don't see, he also plays jazz too, by the way. You know, Sheun Kuti also plays jazz.
Sure.
You know, so we don't see the likes of trumpeters being featured. We have guitarists being featured. I mean, Fioki is a guitarist, and he was featured on a song with Davido and Peruzzi. But trumpeters are not featured. So how do you think you can actually really change that?
Yeah, sure. I'm actually working on, I've been trying to put together a proposal that I can send out to different record labels and different individuals like music artists and all of that, for collaborations. Because I do music writing as well. I write songs, and basically due to the fact that I'm just like a jazz artist, I can't sing most of those songs. So I've got music that I feel, a particular artist will do well on it, and having their interest and having their attention to do that piece definitely will bet this collaboration you're talking about.
True.
Yeah.
That's actually really great. So quickly, before we actually go to have you perform, in which I'm sure you actually came with your trumpet. Let's can I touch this quickly? Okay. Do you mind? This is great. Honestly, I can't remember the last time I actually held the trumpet, but right now I'm holding the trumpet. I feel good. Yeah. I feel really good because I don't know how to really hold it like that. How do they hold it? I think you should actually have this. Yeah. You actually perform a piece for us. Any piece at all that you wrote or something. So your major inspiration in Nigeria for jazz?
Major inspiration? Well, the only inspiration I had then was Mike Aremu. Because I grew up to his music. The very first day I picked up the trumpet, I had to just go and look for his album because it was the only jazz icon that I could reckon with at that time in Nigeria. Then a couple of times I got exposed to the likes of Segun Atoyebi, Victor Detunde. I got exposed to the likes of Bright Gain, and Ambassador Wale Oni, the likes of them. Sure. So I draw inspiration from them, and they're my source of encouragement because seeing them and seeing the drive and passion they have for that style actually keep me going.
Thank you so much. That's wow. Honestly, that's really amazing. Really amazing. I actually really wish I could, play this. Honestly, like play this in the way you actually performed it. What's the name of the piece you actually played?
Yeah, the piece is actually called Footprint.
Footprint.
Yeah.
Like on the beach,
Yeah.
something. What's inspired this piece?
Well, I believe life is all about living legacy, and that was the real inspiration behind it. So living legacy is like your living footprint on earth.
That's really amazing. Jesse Ibidun, everybody, this is really amazing, and he is an amazing jazz trumpeter, and I really need to come under his tutelage. Honestly, I really thank you so much for coming through. I really appreciate this.